Hey everybody, this is Sala, and you guys are welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. In this course, we are learning C Sharp step by step. As we know, in our last lecture, we learned something new about the string. String is not a primitive data type. String is actually implemented as a class in .NET. String has a different memory representation. A string object is saved as single dimensional array. And we have seen that and experiment with it in our previous lecture. So we learned all the basics in our previous lecture. For example, how to use the index value to access the individual character, how to apply the length property, and how to loop through a string character by character using the for each loop and the for loop. And we also know that a string represents the text and the data in text format is everywhere. And in most of the cases, we need to manipulate, change, and update text type data. So that's why the string class offers a great variety of methods and properties to manipulate string data. So in this lecture, we are going to go through frequently used methods and properties which we apply on the strings in order to manipulate it. So let's have a quick look on all the methods we have in our string class. Open a browser tab and search for string uh, class C Sharp. Now, here we have the first link from the Microsoft, the official link, string class belongs to the system namespace. Now, click on that. And if I scroll down, so here you see constructor properties, and here comes the methods. Now, you see the list is very long, right? So these are the methods we can apply on the string. And from this list, we are going to learn some of them, the methods which are frequently used. And you can simply use this documentation as reference. You want to learn something more about the string, the documentation is here. Just come here and try out the new things by your own, right? Now, coming back to our code editor, let's clean our code file, even the string variable. Now, I'm going to create two string variables here. Message1 contains the string object uh, hello, and string message2 contains the same object hello. Now the first thing here is string comparison. How do we compare uh, a string objects? In order to compare two string objects, we can simply use relational operator equals to, or we have another built-in method which is called uh, equals. I think equal or equals. Uh, yeah, it is called equals. Now, for example, if I want to compare message1 and message2, both the strings are equal. So I will simply apply the relational operator is, and the result of this statement should be true. We can also use the result in the if statement. For example, in an if statement, now I will call the equals. Equals is a method it applies on a string object and takes another string object as parameter. So let's see MSG1, we are going to call the uh, equals on the first string object MSG1. Here comes the equals, and the second we're going to send as object like this. So using the method, we are going to compare if the first string object equals to the second string object. Now, the interesting thing here is that the equals method in the background calls the relational equals operator. So this operator is actually called in the background by the equals method. So there are two ways to compare the strings for equality, and this one is most popular. Now, in the if block, we gonna simply write a statement. This strings are equal. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the cancel, right? True, coming from the first statement, and the strings are equals coming from the if statement. Strings are case sensitive. If I simply turn this uppercase letter H into the lowercase letter, then the result would be false. The uppercase is not equals to the lowercase because they have different character code in the Unicode table. So remember this point, strings are case sensitive. Okay, let's now move on. That was the first thing, how to compare strings objects. Now we have case conversion. There are two very straightforward methods which we can use to change the lowercase to uppercase or uppercase to lowercase. We can simply call it case conversion. Now, let's say in the right line method to the first string, which is MSG1, I will call to uppercase or to upper like this. It's going to convert the entire string object into the uppercase. It will become uppercase. And to the second string, msg1, I will call to lowercase, like this. Now the string is totally converted into the lowercase. So let's run the program and check the output. Now here you can see the string are converted. The first one is in the uppercase and the second one is in the lowercase. The advantage of ToUpper and ToLower is they can also be called at the time of reading input. Now, for example, I want to read a name in the program using the read line like this. Now, on the read line, we can call ToUpper directly like this. So as I enter the name in the console, the name will be converted into the uppercase and then assigned to the name variable. Now we can print out simply the name variable in the console. So let's run the program and check the output. So let's now provide a name. I will use a mix of different characters. Let's say SALAR. You can see two uppercase characters and three lowercase characters, and they will be converted into the uppercase because we are calling to uppercase. So let's press enter. Now you can see all the characters are converted into the uppercase. So that was a case conversion, and here we have two very useful methods. So let's now move on. Another very useful method is IndexOf. And using this method, we can find a part of the string in the whole string. This method is overloaded and has several different versions with different parameters. Just have a look at the documentation. You will see IndexOf method here with different parameters, right? There are several different versions of IndexOf method. I am going to show you the use of the simplest one, IndexOf with one parameter, and that parameter is of type string, and it will simply find the first occurrence of the provided string and return the index value. So let's create a string variable with the name str, and it has a value like learning C# is an interesting thing, right? And now I will call the IndexOf method like this, and the search string is C sharp. The C sharp appears only once in this text, and our program will return the index value of the C because here our search string starts, right? So we will get the index value of the C. And that value is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And before we run the program, just deactivate the read line so that we don't need to provide something in the console. Let's run the program now. And so you see the output in the console. The index value is 9, and this is the start of the search string. And once again, you will only get the first match, the first occurrence. If you have another C# string like this, you won't get the index of this one. If you want to find all the occurrences, then you need to program it manually, right? So that was the IndexOf method. It has several versions. You can try out some more by your own. Move on. Our next method is for controlling the input. Let's have a look at the documentation again. And here we have two very useful methods, IsNullOrEmpty and IsNullOrWhitespace. Both the methods are used to validate user input. They return a Boolean result based on the value we provide to them. For example, is null empty. It will check if the value provided to it is null or empty, right? And the second one is for null or white space. So let's see how do we use these methods to validate user input. We can call the method directly in the if statement if we want, because the return value is a Boolean value. Both the methods are called using the string keyword, string dot is null or empty, and we are going to pass our str variable as parameter to it. Now the method will check if this string is null or empty. In our case, the str variable is not null or empty. That means the method will return a false value, and we will automatically come inside the else statement like this. So we can write a console liner here, and we'll say input accepted, and here we can write some message like invalid data. As we run the program, this statement will be in the console. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? Input accepted because our string is not null or empty. Now we can remove the text and make this string an empty string like this. This is empty string. Instead of empty string, you can also assign it a null value, right? So in both the cases, the is null or empty method will return a true value, and we will come inside the if statement and print this message invalid data. Before we run this program, don't forget to deactivate the IndexOf method because our string is now a null string, right? So IndexOf will not work on the null string. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? Invalid data. You can also try out the other one, is null or white space by your own. So that was is null or empty method, which is used to validate user input. Let's now move on. Another very useful method is substring method. Substring method is actually used to extract the part of the string. And the method can also take several parameters. So let's consult with the documentation to learn more about this method. Now scroll down, we will find substring. Uh, here we have substring method, right? It has two different versions with two different parameters. In the first version, we provide a single start index value, and the method will start extracting the string from that value and will continue to the end of the string. And in the second version, we provide the extraction length using the two index value, the start index value of the section and the end index value of the section. So let's try out both the methods one by one. So let's create another string variable. We don't have a valid string variable. The name of the variable is car, and I put something here. For example, I have Volvo V90, sorry, V90. And now we will call the substring method with one parameter. So on the car, we're going to call the substring method. Now the first or the start index, let's say, is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So I will start the extracting from the index 7. So I will provide 7. Now the extraction will start from here and will continue to the end of the string. So this portion will be extracted from the text. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? Volvo V90. So that was a substring method with one parameter. We can also provide another parameter. Now, let's say we want to start the extraction from the index number 7. And then we want to extract 4 or 5 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to extract the name Volvo. So I will provide the value 5 here. This is the length of the extraction. Now only the word Volvo is extracted. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? The Volvo is isolated, extracted from the string. Let's now move on. Another very important method which we use quite often is the trim method. This method removes the unnecessary white spaces from the string. And we use it quite often on user input. Before we start processing the user input, we call the trim method on it in order to remove the extra unnecessary white spaces. Now, for example, in our car string, we don't have leading or trailing white spaces, but we can create some white spaces, for example, like this, some spaces here, and some spaces here. Now, before I call the trim method, I will simply print the length of the string car.length. It will simply print the number of characters, and wide spaces are also characters. And now in another write line, I will call the trim method. And after the trim method, I will simply call the length property on it, right? To calculate the length. I will see the different value in the console. Here we see a length with the white spaces, and here we see the length without white spaces. So white spaces are totally removed as we have called the trim method. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? With white spaces, the length of the string is 21, and without white spaces, the length of the string is 16. So that is a proof that white spaces, the trailing and leading white spaces are removed by the trim method. So trim method is a useful method, and we use it to remove the white spaces, the leading or trailing white spaces from the user input. Now, the last method I'm going to show you here is the split method. And this method is also very useful and we use it quite often. And one thing you need to remember while using the split method is the return value is a string array. The method splits the string and returns several different substrings, several different parts of the string. And that's why the return value is a string array. This method is also overloaded and has several different versions. Let's consult with the documentation first. So here in the documentation, you can see the split method. It has several different versions with different types of parameters. So let me show you some very common use of a split method. So when we use the split method, we decide a separator. For example, the separator in this string can be the white space because all the words in the string are separated by the white space. So let me just remove the trailing and leading white space first. Right, so now we can use the white spaces as separator. So we're gonna call the split method now. The return value is a string array. So we're gonna capture all the return value in the string array. The name of the array is string parse like this. Now on the card string, we are going to call the split, and the split value is a white space, right? So it's a separator. Now our program will simply split this car variable into four different string values, right? I is a value, have is another value, Volvo, and V90. So four different values will be returned by the split method, which are then saved in this string array variable. So variable string parse is an array. We can confirm its length is using the length property. Sorry, length property, and the result should be 4 because it has 4 components. We can print out a component, for example, string parse the component at index 2. So 0, 1, 2. At index 2, we will find Volvo. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output, right? The size of the array is 4, and at index 2, we have Volvo. So our string is now totally divided into four different parts. So when we use the split method, we decide a separator. Sometimes we have different separators. For example, the space is a separator. Let's say now instead of a space, I just put a semicolon, or sorry, a comma here, and here I put a semicolon, right? So it's a different kind of a string which have different values, right? Here we have a space, a semicolon, and a comma. So what can we do in this case? We can gather all the separators first in a character array. We can create a character array, and the name of the character array is separators. On here, we can collect all the separators. For example, space, uh, and a comma, and a semicolon. Yeah, they can be a full stop, etc. Right? So these are the lists of the separators. And now we can pass this separators list to the split method like this. Now, instead of the one separator, we are actually providing a list of the separators. The output would be the same in the console. We will get four different parts here. So let's run the program and check the output. You won't see any difference. And so you see the output in the console, right? So we have four strings in the string array, and here is the string which is at index number 2. So my friends, in this lecture, we learned the most frequently used string methods. All the methods which I showed you in this lecture are useful. Practice with them, use them in your program, and consult the documentation if you want to learn more about the other methods. So now we have covered the strings in C Sharp. We know the string representation in the memory and some useful methods. In our next lecture, we will cover character class. Character class has some very useful methods can be used on the string to extract some extra information. So I will see you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching and take care of you.